Hey,
Hey there. How you doing, man?
I'm fine. You?
Doing pretty well.
So you live on the west coast of America?
Yeah, I'm in
Oh,
Oregon, actually.
okay. But by record, do you mean you'll use it in some YouTube video if you get some information that's good about it, or you think other people can learn from it, or
Yeah,
what are
pretty
you?
much. I basically just record them all. One, so that if I do find or happen to say some good stuff, that I can use it as
Oh
content.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
and also, I can share the video with you afterwards, and you can rewatch it whenever you want. It'll just be online, so you can like revisit it if you want to.
Okay, so I live in Belgium, as I said, and Dota is not really popular here. Not like it really matters that much.
Right.
But you already have watched the replay of mine, like the Winter Reaver one, like 2 or 3 days ago on your stream.
Okay.
Yeah. So we won't really be going in Dota, but like like my skill level more or less. Uh, I'm 6.1k MMR, rank 1,800 of Europe. I'm 16 years old right now. And the the real question I've been sitting is do I want to get further into this Dota the Dota community and get it as a job, because I feel like it's a very riskful job to take, and also investing time in it is very like it's very it requires a lot of time.
Yeah, that's for
So
sure.
so I don't know, since I've been 11 I've been playing Dota, so that's like I think I played for 4 years and a half.
Mhm.
So I've really had a big grow. I've grown a lot. I mean, I started with 640 MMR and 1.1k solo MMR, and then I've risen really high.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're higher MMR than I am, and I've been
Are
playing
you
the game since Dota 1, so you are significantly
are you
farther ahead of me.
serious?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I thought you were like a pro or
No,
something.
no. Jenkins is top 200. I'm just like, I've just been playing the
But
game forever, and I'm good at analyzing stuff. Um, I'm,
oh,
I'm just
but
like,
do you talk to Jenkins a lot, or you
yeah,
know him, or?
yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
talk all the time. I'm I do analysis for like I'm going to be casting an event this weekend. So I mean,
Yeah, but
I know the game well, but I'm definitely not that good of a solo player. I'm like divine, but I tilt a lot, and
oh yeah, yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of coaching experience. I've coached a lot of like other sports, and I played college sports like at a pretty high level. So I'm very familiar with kind of like the grind and what it takes to be successful in
Okay,
something like that.
okay, yeah, but I think it's fine. I mean, of course, it's always a bit better to talk to higher memoirs because, but I mean, it doesn't really matter that much because I see a lot of experience actually is about the same. And I mean, it's not really the tricks to get pro, because they are not really tricks to get pro, but it's more. I see you're really having a lifestyle to get your money out of Dota, right? Or
Trying
am I?
to at least. I'm definitely trying
Yeah,
to at the very least.
yeah, and I mean, I kind of want to see how it works, because like it's not a common thing you see people do. I want to be pro gamer or something, and also because it's a big investment and only the best can make it, and that's the big risk of it.
Yeah.
And so, uh, so I'm not quite sure if you'll have advice for this. I hope, but so if I want to get better right now, I mean, as I said, I played 40 hours a week. I checked it a couple of days ago. It was more like 35. I
Hmm.
kind of overrated it, but it's not I didn't it was a good guess. But I mean, that's really a lot, and I feel like I feel like I'm not really growing that fast, especially. I mean, like since the first till 4K I got really easy, and then it was like really struggle to get up to 6K, and sometimes I still feel like I'm not really worth the MMR because like my mid is shit, my core sometimes feels like shit. When I play in a team, when I play in a team, I feel like I just feel like I solo queue, but I don't think about the game. I just play and I play for the MMR only. Sometimes I don't even enjoy what I play when I play, and
Right.
that's really a big problem.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, here's the thing. If we can take a step back, like regardless of what you do, whether it's Dota, whether you want to be a businessman, whether you want to
Yeah,
play a sport, whether you want to be a lawyer, like if you want to be the best at something, it requires a lot of discipline and time investment and like even some natural skill. It's all part of it. So honestly, what it comes down to is like finding what you really want to do, and then you know like you don't have to make that decision at 16. That's for sure. Like I am still figuring out what I want to do. I'm 29 years old, right? So a little bit of history of like sort of my path has been, and I'm just telling you this because it may put things in perspective, but for probably since I was about like 7 or 8, I wanted to play baseball, like baseball,
yeah, I know.
professionally. And
Okay,
so I wanted to be a professional baseball player. And I was really good at baseball. Like all I did for basically my entire childhood was play sports. I played every sport. I thought about baseball. I practiced baseball on my own. I even considered changing high schools to go play baseball for a high school that would allow me to play as much as I wanted to. Um, and then I went to college and switched colleges because I wanted to play baseball. And ultimately, what it came down to is I didn't have enough dedication to really just 100% become a baseball player. Like, I didn't have necessarily the best opportunities, but at the same time, like, when I decided to stop playing baseball, it was
yeah,
because I realized that I just didn't care as much as I thought I did about being a pro baseball player. Like when I saw what it really took, and you just had to dedicate my entire life to just playing baseball, it just didn't really actually appeal to me because there's so many other things that I wanted to do.
yeah, and I have like kind of the same with Dota right now because I mean I'm young. I see all like it's not like the other people like especially do something because like as I hear they would like just play Fortnite or like watch for Netflix or something all the whole day long, and then like maybe do one thing that's kind of interesting every day, let's say, or even less. But I mean like sometimes I just feel like I I got some friends who play Go and that, but I really hate that game. Actually, I played it with them for like half a year, didn't like it, went back to Dota,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're like like when I was 11, I started. I played with my brother who is 2 years older. He stopped this year, so I mean that's why I was like I want this coaching to like look how I want to like go further on Dota or like quitting. I don't think I will do that like before my like let's say 18 or something like because my brother quit it more or less now. We would still play one game in the weekend maybe, but not every week.
Right.
And it's wait, where was I forgot. So yeah, he stopped. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, wait, no. Mm,
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, these are not decisions that you have to make at 16. Just take that from me, as somebody who's changed careers multiple times, um, it like no decision is permanent. So
but you say I should do what I feel like I want to do and not what I think I should do, or
I think that you should like experiment with things and see what you enjoy doing in your life. And if you truly want to be a professional Dota player, then you need to actually
but
enjoy the process of getting there. It can't just be like, hey, I want to be a pro gamer because of you know the fame or the travel or something like that. It's got to be, I want to be a pro Dota player because I genuinely enjoy playing Dota and becoming better at Dota and like striving to be the best at this particular thing.
And that's why I kind of got to my point, because I don't enjoy it anymore. So I mean, not always. Like when I don't play it for a day, I would still want to play it. But like when I get to play it after one game, I don't enjoy it as much.
Right. And so you're
But,
asking for advice is like how to make yourself enjoy it again?
not. I don't think there's advice for that.
Sure
But
there is. I mean, like
I mean, what I experienced, like since I got into solo queue, I actually never went back to party, because like my first 2,000 games would be like with friends. Never played solo, or maybe like 10 games until I got my solo MMR, and then I went back to party. It's kind of been like that. But then I felt the rush of getting solo MMR, and then I got into that a lot, and like only spammed that actually, and never played party again. And now that I played so much that I don't enjoy it anymore, I feel like I want to play party again, but my brother quit and all his friends quit. So I'm like, oh, who I gotta play with now? And then I try to find some teams and that, but I cannot really find teams of my skill, because I want to improve with my team, or like try to improve from them. But I then get to these teams that are like kind of crappy, and especially in Belgium and like the surrounding countries like Netherlands, who talk like the same language as me, it's very hard to find like skilled teams, because there are like maybe 20 players like who have a higher rank than me, and they already like formed these teams that are like really like good. And if you would go to a LAN or something, there are very few, and they're not very successful.
right. Well, I mean, like esports, Dota, it's an international thing. So it's not like you just have to play with Belgians, right? Like your English is good enough to communicate with anybody.
Yeah, I know,
Especially when it
but
comes to like Dota terms. You know, it's like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
Sven
yeah, I
Sven
know.
is the same in Russian and,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
English and probably every other language pretty much. Um so like I don't know, did you watch Jenkins's How to Go Pro video? Have you watched that one?
Um, yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I did. But like a month ago or maybe, and I didn't really understand a lot. But it was like something. First, it's a hobby. You invest timing. Then it's a half job, and then it's your job. Something.
Right. And then during that sort of second phase, one of the things that he talks about is how to find a team, how to get on a team.
Yeah, that's also what I realized. He said like once you get to immortal ranks, you should like be looking to play open qualifiers.
Yeah, and just
Like
like play with the team, and basically just like you play your pubs like it's a job essentially, and then during those pubs you're going to meet people that are around the same skill as you, because that's how pubs work, that's how matchmaking works.
yeah, but I feel in solo MMR like I add people and they just send question marks like, "Why are you adding me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for players to play open qualifiers with." They like, "Oh no, I don't play Dota Pro."
So I
It's just
mean,
like that.
how many people have you added total, do you think?
Not a lot. So just
Okay,
like it was
so
a cheap argument.
you
I
need to
mean,
just
maybe
add
10 or something.
everybody that you play a good game with. Like, you know, every single time that you queue up for a solo game, it's like 90% of the players that you play with are just going to be either they're not going to talk, they're going to be super selfish, or they're going to be toxic, right? But then the other 10% of people that you play with genuinely want to work with you, and they want to actually like coordinate and play as a team and try to actually execute strategies. And those are the 10% of people that you're going to try and add. You're going to try and network with. Like, being a professional Dota player is just like any other job. It's not about necessarily your qualifications. It's about your
Yeah,
connections.
yeah.
Like,
Do
yes,
you mean
you have to be
do you
qualified.
mean-
You have to be immortal. And you have to be a good, high-skilled player to be a professional player. But more so than that, you have to actually, like, know people that want to do the same thing as you. And the only way to do that is just to meet and talk to as many people as possible.
do you think 300 rank 300 would hit me?
Yeah,
if I would invite.
I don't see why not. I mean,
I mean,
Jenkins
I,
added me. I'm a divine player, and Jenkins is ranked like 180. But we play together sometimes, and we talk about Dota all the time.
but do you match up with him or not? With Jenkins, did you match up with him or not in a solo ring game?
No, I didn't match up with him in the solo ranking. I met him through just Dota and making content, and we started talking about Dota, and now we have Dota Alchemy because I reached out to him and we just started talking about the game and what we wanted to do with it. You know, like that's how it works. I have plenty of friends that have friends that are high ranked. One of my friends that I met through a Dota related work, writing for Liquid Dota, you know, Liquipedia.
Yeah, I do.
He's very good friends with Owie 2000. You know, the guy who won TI, and he played.
Yeah, TI 5 with
Yeah,
EG.
he plays with Owie like on a very regular basis, just
But I mean,
because he knows him.
after TI 5, I've never heard of that guy anymore.
Well, he's a coach now for
Oh, okay.
for forward gaming. But regardless, you know, this guy made $1 million playing Dota, and he's happy to play with people of any skill, like as long as you're a chill, cool person. And
But I mean, now you're 29, and you want to make a career, like a living out of Dota. I mean, do you never think about what will happen when you turn 50 or something, and still try to make? Will you still try to make a career out of Dota?
am I scared of the possibility of failing? Is that what you're asking?
Uh,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like,
I mean, not really of failing, but I mean, like, I never saw gaming as an option, like, for a job until your 50s, because maybe you can stay coach, but I don't. I've never really tried it, but I don't really. I'm not sure I would enjoy it. I don't think so. Like after being pro, like if I would ever make it, I would more likely quit and like start a normal job maybe.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like, I'm trying this out now. Here's the thing. Like, I I wanted to be a professional baseball player, right? That didn't work out. So I got a degree from a university in marketing and media, and then I worked for a bunch of different companies doing like Photoshop and video editing and building websites. And I tried that
Yeah.
out and I didn't like it very much. So then I quit those jobs and I moved somewhere and became a snowboard instructor. And I taught snowboarding for 3 years. And that was super fun for a while. And then I got old and I started to dislike snowboarding as a job because it was literally my favorite thing to do in the entire world was snowboard. But after doing it for like 150 days in a row, I was like, I don't know if I want to be on a snowboard anymore. And so then I left that job after 3 years and moved to another state. And then I did like construction work and I helped build houses for a little bit. And then I got back into doing website work and graphic design and marketing. And then after realizing that that still wasn't something that I really wanted to do, I started just applying. I just started Googling esports jobs and I started to applying to every single esports job that there was. I didn't even care what it was. Graphic design, marketing, social media, team management, coordinating like tournaments, anything. I just started applying to all these jobs, writing, and couldn't find a job for a while. And finally, I got an opportunity to write for Liquid Dota. And I reached out to actually Game Leap. I don't know if you know the Game Leap site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I subscribed to them for 1 month.
And I offered, hey, like, I like what you're doing. I think that your business model is something that could work. What can I do for you for free? And I worked for them for free for like 3.5 months. And then Liquid Dota took me to TI 6, and I got to write articles and like hang out with the Liquid Dota guys. And I got to meet the CEO of Liquid and got some good perspective on esports through talking to him. Made some connections, just talked to a bunch of people at TI and got to experience the event and see how big esports is going to be. Like, that proved to me that esports is going to be a legit industry in the future. And then I put my resume on this esports job website, and the PVGNA Pugna, the Pugna guys reached out to me. They found my resume and hired me, and I worked for Pugna for 2.5 years or 2 years. And then they went out of business, and now here I am trying to figure out what to do, still wanting to work in esports, creating Dota Alchemy and doing coaching and trying to do casting and whatever else I can that's going to keep me in the industry, because I believe in esports. And I believe in, at least trying to do what I really want to do, which is like helping people get better at something. Whether that's coaching baseball, I've done that. Whether that's coaching snowboarding, I've done that. In this case, coaching Dota, helping people get better at a game that I love. I like doing that. I like making videos. I like doing social media stuff. And so I'm just kind of trying all these various things to see what ends up working out. And if it doesn't work out, then you know what? Maybe I'll have to go get a regular job at some marketing firm, or who knows, maybe I'll end up working on a farm. I really don't know. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, because it's all about like the process of figuring it out. And if you can enjoy that process, then you end up not having to really worry about like the future and where you're going to land. I mean, you do have to plan out some things, clearly, like you have bills to pay, maybe you have a girlfriend or a family that you have to take care of. These things all are going to come as you live your life, but as each thing comes, then you just have to deal with it, and you have to figure out like how to integrate that into your life, if that makes any sense.
A bit. But how many hours a day do you invest in Dota and coaching for Dota? I mean, everything that has to do with Dota.
I mean, currently it's my full-time job.
That means 8 hours a day? Or...
I mean, here's the thing. From the moment I decided I wanted to work in esports, I have probably been investing around 16 hours a day. So for the last 3 years, I have done nothing except for esports related stuff for 16, 17, sometimes 18 or 20 hours a day.
Wow.
I wake up and I post on social media, I put out content, then I play a couple of games so that I can kind of like refresh myself in what I know about Dota, maybe discover some things, make some content from the games that I play, and then I talk to Jenkins, and then I interact with our community, and then I try and make more content, and then I turn our content into podcasts and put it on Instagram, and then I, watch games, break down replays, and analyze stuff. Again, try to network with people, think of ideas of how we can build Dota Alchemy to be bigger, and then maybe I take a break to eat lunch, but oftentimes I just end up like working right through that. And I pretty much start my day around 8 o'clock, and then I stop my day whenever I'm too tired to keep working, which oftentimes is midnight or later. And I've been doing this for like 3 years now. And that's just what it takes to do something in an industry that's not fully developed. Like if you want to do something that's not, there's no real pathway to do, like if I wanted to work for a corporation, let's say I wanted to work for, I don't know, Amazon, something like that, right? I could apply for a job at Amazon, and I could go into an office every single day, and I could work in a cubicle, and I could sit there and do my job, and then go home at 5 and work 5 days a week, and then have my weekends off to do whatever I want. But that's not really the lifestyle that appeals to me. I want to be in charge of my own day and my own time and how I spend it. And so that's what I'm trying to do. And that's not something that everybody is going to be able to do, or something that's going to appeal to everybody. And that's fine. Like it doesn't matter what I like. It matters what you like.
But where in the schedule is your girlfriend? Like time with your girlfriend, actually? Because it seems like you're only...
Not a lot. But we've had conversations about, she takes classes at school and she also has a job, and then it's like we have figured out a schedule that works for us, where we spend enough time together to where it works. But she also understands that like when you're trying to build a business, when you're trying to start a business or do something, like it requires a huge amount of time investment.
But like since you've been with Liquid, with like Team Liquid on TI6, like also like do you know Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I know who Jordan Peterson is.
Okay, okay, good. Like sometimes I get recommended videos of him on YouTube. I also read one of his books or like tried to read it, but he uses very difficult English.
Hmm.
So I kind of like quit in the half because like it reads very slow since since my native language is Dutch.
Right.
Uh, so but like there was like one video and it was like either I mean I know it was like he like kind of puts like he phrases it like like too big of a difference, but he says like it's either having a life or like being good at it's being very good at one thing. I mean, like if I would compare this being very good at one thing like to Dota, I mean, and you would look at the life of like the lifestyle of one of these pros. Do they also play like 16 hours a day Dota or like what do they do?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not one of them necessarily. And I don't necessarily believe with that mindset. Yes, if you want to be the best in the world at something, you're going to
Yeah,
have to invest an unbelievably large amount of time. But here's the thing, like esports is in a weird spot because it is,
yeah, that's true.
it's very young. And somebody like Kuroki, right? Kuroki, world champion,
Yeah,
TI
yeah, yeah.
captain. He played Dota 1 for like 6 or 7 years making zero money like as his only hobby. And then he started playing Dota 1 semi professionally when all you could earn was like a headset or a keyboard or a mouse. Like that was the prize
Yeah.
money. And then he moved into Dota 2. He wasn't successful immediately at Dota 2. And so he probably invested like literally 10 years of his life making no money because he loved playing Dota. And now it's paid off 10 years down the line. It's kind of like going to school, right? Like you don't make any money
Yeah.
in school, but eventually you make money from a job using skills that you learned in school.
But I mean, like, when I look to esports, I feel like it's only for your 20s and in your 30s. Yeah, you'll have to find something like something different from playing pro because like your reaction time becomes like slower
Maybe.
and all this.
We don't know that. We actually have no idea because there are zero 40-year-old pros because esports hasn't been around for, long enough for that to
Okay,
happen.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like Solo on VP, probably the best
Yeah,
team in the world, is 28. Fear,
yeah.
30 years old. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that, Fear is obviously not a professional player at the moment, but who's to say that he couldn't be one? Ice Ice
Yeah, it's
Ice,
true.
Ice 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 has a kid. He's like 26, 27. Like, we just simply can't make the assumption that you cannot be a professional esports player at 40 because nobody is 40 years old yet of the people who like are pros. If Dota were to last for another 20 years, it's not going to because that's just not how games work. It might be Dota 3, it might be Dota 4, who knows? There might not even be a Dota. We might be virtual reality at that point.
I mean,
But
what do we have to do if Dota like disappears? I mean, all this time,
do
where
some,
does it go to?
do something
Join
else.
League, join League of Legends.
Do something else, man. Like, that's another thing. Sometimes I do have that conversation with myself because I'm like, how do I justify spending all this time in video games? Right?
Yeah, same for me.
How do I justify spending, or playing 7 games a day? And for me, I no longer can justify playing 7 or 8 games a day because I have too many other things to do that are important. But you can also take things from your time investment, right? Like what are some things that you have to do with a Dota team? You have to communicate, you have to work together, you have to like empathize with your teammates and learn to kind of be a team, maybe learn to lead them. These are all skills that are going to translate to literally everything you do in your life. And learning to overcome hardships and not give up when stuff gets really difficult, like maybe your teammates are feeding and you still have to carry a game because you want to win. Like, having mental resilience like that is going to go into any area of your life where you're going to have to deal with hardship.
Mostly, I'm pretty positive in my Dota games.
Well, that's
I
good.
mean,
You know, that's a
I
good.
mean, I used not to be when I was playing with my brother, but like since I found solo rank so important, I thought it was time to change.
Well, I mean, so even right there, like, do you think that that change in mindset is good for you as a person?
Uh, Probably it's better. I feel it is better, like because I mean you would get really upset, and then you would fuck up the next game. By that, it's better to stay calm and to mute people for sure. But
Sure. And,
I
and
mean,
and what about in your life? Like, what if you're working at some job? Maybe you haven't had this experience yet because you're only 16, or like,
no.
or maybe you're at school and your teacher says something that you don't like, or your friend says something that you don't like. Do you think it's fine to just like get pissed at them and start a fight? No. Learning to be calm
I
is
mean,
is something that translates to so many situations.
yeah, that's true. But like, it's something different behind your PC than like with like people. I think, like not really much, but like it's still a little bit different, especially with the mute function.
I mean, sure, maybe, but at the same time, like, interacting with a human being is the same.
Ye- I mean, I think it's a bit different behind your PC, but
Sure, like, behind the PC allows you to just be even more of an asshole because
yeah,
there's less
that's true.
consequences. So if you
That's true.
if you can control your urges to be an asshole when you have the freedom to be one, then it probably makes you a better person in the long run.
Yeah,
But
probably.
but I mean that's not even like the biggest thing. All right, so what else does Dota do? Like what are some of the most important things?
Dota did in my life, or
What's up?
what was your question? The most important things
What
Dota.
are some of the most important things that make a good Dota player? I mean, sure, mechanics are
Oh,
important, right? You have to be mechanically skilled,
mechanics,
but
game knowledge, I'd say.
game knowledge is important. But what does game knowledge mean? It means actually like solving problems, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah,
No two games are the same. So let's
yeah,
say
yeah, like that.
you pick a hero that you've played 150 times, and then the other team goes some weird item build that totally screws you over. Now you have a new problem that you have to solve. You have to figure out and think critically about the situation in front of you. Like it exercises your brain. It makes you actually have to solve problems, and that's a very useful skill in life.
Yeah, that's true, but it's still very different in Dota when you. I mean, maybe not, but like when I would have like a problem, like something like a question on the test, or like and compare it to Dota thing, I maybe it helps a little bit if you like with creativity,
Yeah,
but on the other hand, I don't think that's like has really big impacts.
maybe not, but I don't know. Like, I'm not telling you you have to like think of Dota as a creative exercise, but the fact is that it is. So, in my opinion, playing Dota helps you think creatively and solve problems creatively.
Yeah,
That's just
that's
like an
true.
inherent part of the game. Whether you think it actually does that or not, it does, and there's no denying that.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, I don't know. To me, it sounds like you're kind of trying to find excuses to like not play Dota. It almost sounds like you're looking for some justification that all of your time has been wasted just based on like how we're talking about things. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Man, that's like kind of been my problem since like a half a year. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do this because I have all these other urges like of things I want to try out and do, but I feel like Dota is always calling me back. I know it sounds very negative about the game that it's like keeping me chained or something, but I enjoy sometimes, but the feeling I just I don't know, man. It's like it's excuses, as you say. I just I want to do something else, but I just blame that I need to play Dota or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I mean, essentially, what
Like
it comes down to is discipline. Then at that point, because
I, I
like
mean, I prepared some questions and they were all about Dota, but randomly we're talking about this now.
I mean, that's fine. Like,
I mean, it's also something I wanted to talk about, but not the things I wrote down on paper. But
well,
okay, yes.
I mean, if you want to ask me questions about Dota, feel free.
I mean,
I'm just trying to kind of understand where your head is at, and to me, it sounds like you don't really want to play Dota that much right now, and the only reason that you're playing Dota is because you have like a fear of either you've wasted all of this time,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
or
It's I
you have a fear of like, what if I could have been a pro player, and you
yeah,
don't.
that's exactly what's going on in my mind right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell.
Es-
I can see that.
Especially at this age. I mean, in Belgium, the Dota community is maybe thousands of people. Half a year ago, I was second best player of Belgium. Like, I mean, how can you not think about going pro? Like now, I'm still like second, third. Like I haven't rose a lot of MMR, but I mean, it's always that's like since I've made like to 6K, that's been like all over my mind. I mean, some days you don't feel it, but other days it's like really hard. And like when I like asked you for the coaching sessions, that was not on my mind. That's why I wrote a lot of different questions down. But like today and yesterday, this has like been all over my mind again because I just experienced. I also do enjoy other things more than Dota right now. So
So
that comes on my mind again.
sure. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, why don't you just do some other stuff for a while? Like, if you take like 3 months off and you just don't play any Dota for 3 months and you do a bunch of other things, maybe you like learn to skateboard or learn another language or I don't know, like go hang out with your friends and just like party on the weekends and just like have other hobbies. Like, who cares?
My Dota career does, I think.
I mean, maybe, like, but if you don't enjoy if you don't enjoy Dota, you're not going to become a professional player. It's as simple as that.
That's true. That's also what I thought about. And I mean, if you like, I don't know if it's really like that, but mostly like the pro Dota players are like people who played on internet cafes or something. I don't know what's like these internet things with all the computers.
Like
Like
a LAN cafe.
yeah, like Sumail, he grew up like fucking poor family,
Yeah.
but like Ortiz, he also same. I mean, a lot of pro Dota players do it like this. Is it just because like they just like they know nothing else, or just because they play more? I mean, there are more people who play Dota there, so they. I mean, for me, having a lot of friends and playing Dota is like it's really hard. I mean, friends in real life, not on Dota, of
No,
course,
I
because
get it. I get it, man. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I I have a lot of friends from my life, but I basically am never in contact with them because all of my time has been dedicated towards trying to build this career that I want. And that wasn't the case. When I was in college, when I had the opportunity to potentially be a professional baseball player, all I really wanted to do was hang out with friends and go to parties and do anything other than play baseball. And that's what I did. And as a result, I'm not a pro baseball player. But that's okay. That's just a decision that I made. And for a while there, it definitely, like, even sometimes now, like I'm past the age that I could be a pro baseball player. Like, there's no 29, 30-year-old rookies. That just doesn't happen.
yeah, yeah.
And even now, sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I had gone for it a little bit harder. But then I realize it's like, well, I didn't, and that's just reality. That's just a decision that I made. And I've done a lot of other fun things in my life. and grown in a lot of other ways that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. And so there's always trade-offs, you know. It's like Sumail probably did nothing but play Dota. That was the only hobby that he had. And as a result, he's now 19 years old, and despite having like a bunch of money and this career as a professional Dota player, I'm sure there are plenty of other things that he would love to do with his life. And
Maybe.
plenty of other experiences that he probably wishes that he had had at some point, but he doesn't, you know, but this is the life that he had and this is the life that he chose. And as far
Yeah,
as your fear of like, well, what if I could have been a pro Dota player? I mean, if you really want to find out, then you're going to have to develop some discipline, and you're going to have to figure out a way to enjoy the process and not just be focused on the end goal, because that's what it really comes down to. Like, if there's, you should go on, like, after we're done talking or some other time, you should go on YouTube and look up like what it takes to be a master. I forget exactly what the video is called, but basically there's this scientist or professor at, I think it's like MIT or Harvard, you know, one of like the really good American colleges, and he talks about the science behind like what it takes to become the best at something. And in a lot of cases, it's kind of down to luck, because let's say you're learning to play piano. Sometimes all the difference between somebody who becomes a professional pianist and the person who played piano for like 6 years when they were a kid and then never played it again can be as small as the person who became a professional pianist just had a teacher or a parent who said some nice things about their piano playing. They could have been the exact same skill, the exact same talent as somebody who quit after 6 years, but their teacher told them that they could be great, or that they or even they just like enjoyed it more. And so they spent more time, and because they enjoyed it more and they spent more time, they became better, and then they got more positive reinforcement because they were better. And that's just like, oftentimes that's just how it works. Like, that's why I picked the sport baseball over something like basketball or football or soccer, is I literally just had better results early on. And so I spent more time being better at it because I was like, damn, I'm really good at this. And that makes it really fun because I'm good. You know, it's like,
yeah, I know. I can tell a lot of scenarios too with this.
that's why I play Dota instead of like Hearthstone. So it's just like I just happen to have enjoyed and been good at Dota more so than like a digital card game or StarCraft. Like that, you know, I played StarCraft, and then I played Warcraft 3, and then I found Dota, and I realized that I really wasn't that good at all of the like building a base and microing while also doing all this macro stuff. So I just started playing Dota. I was like, I can play one hero? That's all I have to do? Cool. So I liked Dota more, and I became much better at Dota than I am at StarCraft.
Okay. So another thing I wonder is, like, sometimes I feel like I have to play one Dota game at least a day, just of the fear of not becoming pro, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Like, I noticed that if I don't play like 2 or 3 games a day, I get worse. It's just like reality, you know?
Oh no, I don't feel it, man. Mostly when I play game a day, I rise in my more just because I concentrate more at the game. Because mostly the first game I play is concentrated, or more or less concentrated. Some games I'm not concentrated from the start, but I still win somehow. And then I play a couple more, sometimes win, sometimes lose. It's more or less 50%. But the first one I mostly win.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a pattern that you should possibly explore a little bit. You know, like there is actually what you're describing is basically like a forced forget exactly what the terminology is, but you're basically forcing your brain to think of that first game or the one game that you play as more important than other games. And therefore, you try harder, you probably tilt less, and you end up winning more often because you're trying harder, because you're taking
I
a
don't
better
know if I
approach to it.
ever tilt. I don't know if I ever tilt. I just get bored, I think.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a form of tilt. Tilt is basically any sort
Oh,
of like emotional state that makes you play in a less than optimal way. That's how I would describe tilt. Tilt's not just anger. Tilt can be like apathy towards the game, not caring. Could be sadness. It could be anger. Like it could be many different
no.
things.
Okay, but you're. I've heard you're not a highest MMR player, but I don't know if you do this every game. But I feel like if you like if you want to play very well, you have to like think all the time about the scenarios that can happen and all these things, like everything really. Like from the draft, you have to think like every scenario in
Oh
your
yeah.
head, and like I mean, mentally, this takes a lot of energy and concentrate focus. So I
Yep.
mean, if I would play like this, I can maximum play one game every 3 hours, I'd say, or like maybe probably one game every 2 hours, like one game, one break of 1 hour, I'd say,
Mm-hmm.
to like keep playing on this state. But do you also think a lot while in game, or is it? I mean, I don't know if the pros do it. I mean, probably once they did, but it got like worked in their system.
I mean,
Or
here's the thing, man. Like, what pro tournament have you ever watched where they just play game after game after game? Never.
or T-
That
or,
never happens. They always take a break in between games.
no RTZ streams.
Well, we're not talking about streams. We're talking about literally professional events, like where
Oh,
you
yeah,
make
yeah,
money. There is always a
oh
break
yeah,
in between games, right?
yeah.
Because you need some time to reset. You have to take some time to reset. Like what sporting event do you know where they just play the entire game? There's always a halftime. There's always timeouts. There's always quarters or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you're 100% correct. Playing Dota at a high level is like a maximally taxing mental experience. And depending on your teammates and how much you have to lead and how much you have to communicate, it could be anywhere from like the most exhausting thing you do for the entire day to just a mildly irritating or mildly stressful experience.
But
But
like then the thing is, like when you want to enjoy Dota, mostly a mental exhausting thing you don't want to do.
I mean, yeah,
Especially like
I would say that
on
you probably have gotten to a point where you kind of like resent playing the game because it's so tiring. And you feel
yeah,
like
that's true. That's true.
and you feel like you have
That
to play because you're like, how else can I possibly get better other than just playing the game? But it's
and
tiring to
like
play the game, and you're like, wait,
what
I keep playing the game and it's tiring, and then I'm playing worse, and it's more frustrating because I'm playing worse. But I have to keep playing because I lost these games, and now I have to like get my MMR back, or I have to like improve in this
yeah.
next game. Yeah, it's like,
That's like the Winter Weaven match you watched of me. Like it was like I played the whole Saturday from like 11 a.m. till Battle Cup.
mhm.
That is at 8 p.m. and then I played that Battle Cup game. I mean, there was not a lot of thinking in that game. It was more like the things like that are worked in my brain, that are like autopilot things that I did in that game.
Yeah,
But I mean,
totally. I mean, that's what happens. Like your brain will. There's no amount of caffeine, no amount of drugs is gonna make you be 100% focused all the time, and your brain will eventually just be like, nope, I'm done. I don't have any more energy. And as a result, you will make worse decisions because your brain just doesn't work as well. Like,
yeah, but
there's so
I
many
mean,
things that can make your brain work worse. And
yeah, this,
you seem to have discovered a way to make your brain work better, which is taking a break, resetting, playing another game later when you actually feel ready to play. So why don't you just do that for a while? Because you're not
I
disciplined.
don't know.
That's why.
Yeah, I think because I used to think the more games you play, the more you learn, the faster you get better.
Hell no.
But,
Hell no. And
but
I've had
I don't know, man.
I've had so many conversations with Jenkins about this, and we call it binge queuing. Both of us have done this. Like, and we'll catch each other. Sometimes, honestly, that's one thing that you can do if you can like find people that are on the same page as you, and like you have to talk to people to figure this out. But I'm lucky enough to have found somebody like Jenkins who, if we see, like, because we'll check each other's profiles from time to time, and I'll see, I can tell when he's doing that, when he's playing every single game to try and just like, he's like, the only way for me to like get to where I want. Yeah, everybody does, man. Every single person does. Everybody has been through that where they're like, well, you know, the only way to get better or get where I want to is just to play as much Dota as possible. And then you play like 15 games in a row, and by the end of the day, you're like, I don't remember any of those games, and I literally gained no MMR. And I wasted
That's so true, man.
I wasted 15 hours of my day playing games to get nowhere. And then
don't you get any skill out of these games?
That's
don't you learn
fucking
anything?
depressing. It's super depressing to do that too, because you're like, I used an entire day to literally gain no MMR.
But do you learn anything from these games? Like, if you would compare this to these 15 games to 3 games, but like 1 hour in between them, or like just enough rest time, would you learn more from the 3 games or the 15?
Probably the 3. Most likely the 3. And the reason for that is because if you're not taking any time to reflect on what you've done, like how you've played, how could you possibly learn anything? You're not even thinking about it.
I never do reflecting. I think it's super boring.
Well, I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why you're having trouble getting to the next level.
But it's just so boring, man. I don't know. It's just
all the best players do replay review. Every single one of them.
But like every game.
Not every game.
Because I mean, it's just like watching. I'm not really good at finding the highlights of my game. So when I do, I mostly like watch the laning phase, and then I get bored. So I like go to like 30 minutes. I get even more bored, and I go to a moment where I think there was an important team fight we lost or something, or a misplay of mine, and then I watch that. Then I take like an easy conclusion because I'm already tired after that game, and I quit.
Yeah, so like, I mean, again, it's just discipline. Like, you know, I get it. I don't really enjoy doing replay review, but I know that it makes me better, and I know that other people really benefit from it, and I want to make other people's life better. And so that's why I do the streamed replay reviews. I would prefer not to do that. I would prefer to just play Dota all day, every day, but that's not what I can do. You know, that doesn't get me anywhere. What gets me where I want to be is by actually providing value to the people that want to watch my content. Like, I think there's a reason that most people don't like watching random people just play Dota, because it doesn't bring you any value.
That's true.
They watch Arteezy play because he's really fucking good. They watch Bulldog play because he's entertaining, and that brings value to their life. So they don't watch some like random 3K person play Dota because they don't gain any value, you know?
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I don't stream games, is because I don't feel like I'm necessarily good enough to bring enough value to people. And also, when I'm streaming games and playing, I feel obligated to try and add to that value and talk to the chat and answer their questions. And that makes me play worse, which makes me not enjoy the process. And therefore, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, also what I've noticed is I cannot play Dota with music anymore because it distracts me too much. And then I lose games. And that's like the last thing I want to do. So I also quit doing that.
I mean, that's cool. Like, to me, it sounds like you have like a decent amount of self-awareness. You know what I mean when I say self-awareness?
Yeah, I totally do.
Like, you know things about yourself and why you do them, but it just comes to like your discipline as far as your execution. Like, you can know as much as you want about yourself. Let's say you know that smoking is bad for you, right? Smoking
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes is bad for you. This has been proven by science. Everybody knows that smoking is bad for you. So why do people still smoke? It's because their discipline is bad. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, there's physical addiction behind nicotine and cigarettes, but at the end of the day, there's plenty of people who have just stopped smoking cigarettes after smoking for 20 years because they have better discipline than the people who don't.
Yes, that's true. But like I mean I get I I have some self awareness so I can figure these things out. But like school days are really exhausting, man. Like especially like I still do have to do 2 more years and then I finish my secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
So I on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday I have 8 hours of school.
Yep.
Like that's even one more than the previous year. So like I get home very late, and some days I got hobbies. So
Mhm.
like the max games I can play is like when I would take a break to like to regain my focus would be like maybe one. Like on Tuesday I have no hobbies at all, so that's probably like I can play 3 games with regaining. Otherwise I could play 5 or 6 maybe. That's already a lot. But I mean, with regaining your focus, you mean like just doing something else besides Dota, not rewatching replays or watching some YouTube.
I mean, whatever makes you like mentally reset, you know? Um,
Mostly like some, I don't know. Uh, I also do some meditation sometimes.
cool.
Just
That's great. That's definitely been proven to help in a lot of areas of people's lives.
yeah, that's true. Like previous year, I would really like binge it, man. I would like do it 1 hour a day sometimes.
And how did you feel?
But I don't know, man. I felt like I felt more focused in some situations, but then in the similar date I stopped it just because like I went to bed very late, and then you sometimes forget, and also yeah I don't know, just when you can game as much as you want, it doesn't. I don't know. I just had other goals in the school year probably,
Hey, I
but
mean, here's that happens, man. Like, here's the thing. I when I was trying to be an athlete, I would go to the gym 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and I would work out for 2 hours. And I was super strong and really fit, and I could run like 5 miles at a time, no problem. And I could jump
yeah,
super high and lift heavy things and do whatever I wanted physically, and I felt great all the time. Now I sit at a desk for 16 or 17 hours a day because that's the lifestyle that I've made the decision to do right now. And I feel worse. I wish that I worked out, and I should work out, but I don't because my discipline is not good enough to make me work out at the moment. And that's
but I
okay.
mean,
Like,
is there like an option like to go to college and meanwhile work on your Dota career to become pro so that you always have a backup plan? I mean,
I mean, plenty of people have accomplished their ultimate goal while doing something else. Like, I there's so many people that do something to support themselves but then work on something else that they would rather do with their extra time.
but I mean, I don't have to support anything, so I mean, of course, my future bit with studies, but I mean, school is not too hard.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I mean, dude, like, here's the thing. You go to school for what, 8 hours a day?
yeah, mostly,
Okay.
except Wednesday and
And
yeah,
then
Wednesday.
you obviously have to sleep for what, like 6 to 8 hours a day?
Yeah, probably. Like if I want to get good sleep, probably 8 or something. But
Okay.
sometimes I take 6 to, I don't know, to sit and shit with my friends or play some more Dota.
For
That's
sure.
probably
For sure.
that's a bad decision probably,
I mean,
because
maybe.
the next day you really feel the consequences of like your performance on either like following the lesson in Dota.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, here's the thing, right? So if you sleep for 8 hours and you go to school for 8 hours, what are you doing with the other 8 hours?
Uh, I don't know. Sometimes hobby, sometimes only Dota.
Okay.
Mostly not studying, but sometimes. If I have a big test or something, I would study. Yes.
well, you still have 8 hours to do whatever the fuck you want and work on whatever the fuck you want. That's a lot of time.
But
That
with Dota, it feels like nothing actually.
that's 40 hours a week. That's more than 40 hours.
Yeah,
NA
on
math.
Saturday
That's
on
50.
Saturday I'm mostly binging. On Sunday I would do it like something in the evening.
So on
I mean,
Saturday you just like binge key, you just play all day, right?
yeah,
And
mostly with
and how
5 to 10 minutes breaks.
and how's your performance on Saturdays versus others?
Mostly I gain no MMR, and I rewatch no replays at all.
So
That's
do you feel
kind of
like
how
your
it
Saturdays
goes.
are kind of a waste?
Uh, I think so.
Okay, well then change something. Do something different. Play like 2 games on Saturday.
So you
Just
say
just do that for
you
like 3 weeks. For
you say
the next 3 Saturdays, don't binge queue. Just don't do it. Every time you feel
okay.
like you want to queue again, just close Dota and go do something else.
So no binge queues, but yes to mindful queuing and taking breaks to regenerate stress.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, just try it out for a couple of weeks. See what happens. See how you feel. Like, you seem to have enough self awareness to kind of figure out how you feel in various situations.
Yeah,
So,
but adapting is mostly my problem,
well,
especially with
for sure. Like any new habit takes some adapting period. You have to like work on it. You have to actually create a habit. There's a lot of steps to creating a habit. But
yeah.
like why not try it? There's nothing stopping
That's
you
true.
other than your own ability to make yourself follow a schedule. So,
Mostly I would choose excuses. Then in my brain I realize now, but I mean like, but you need to play as much as you can to get pro. Come on, why are
so
you wasting your time?
so
Something like
maybe you need to like write yourself a note and just like stick it on your monitor. I don't know. Like what's going to help you actually follow through with this?
Uh, I don't know. I think now I talked to you. I changed some mindfulness to take better choices with Dota because I normally like previous month I took a game leap subscription
Mhm.
for 1 month, but I canceled it immediately because I had the feeling like there BSG. I really like him. He gives some very good information, and he has like one tips and tricks course that I think was very very helpful. But that was the only thing I really enjoyed. All the other things were like long videos with not a lot of information.
Yeah, that I mean that's one of the hard things about video content about Dota. Um,
I
that I
think
mean,
your videos are doing better actually than Game Leap's his videos with, if you would compare the time to information in itself, in useful information.
well, thank you. I mean, this is something that Jenkins and I have talked about a lot and worked on over the last like 2 years. You know,
I
we
mean,
we
I mean,
started out just talking and rambling and giving no information, and then we realized like we have to get better, and so we've actually practiced our
yeah, but
craft.
I also realized because I used to watch some very 1 hour videos of psychology, like 1 year ago, just because I enjoyed it,
Mhm.
and I realized this dude that made the videos, like his videos were 1 hour, but like I really liked it because they went really deep and you really understood the content. But with Game Leap, they like I watched one 45-minute video where they just show you only early game wardings. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, I mean, all these exceptions. I mean, he likes, yeah, and the box is this big and you can put it here, 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 but you won't see these words. Okay, next camp, you can put it here, here, here. Okay, like, you don't understand the point, and they don't explain that much, like the reasons behind it. Of course, it's only the wording, but I mean, it's just not fun to watch. Really, like
Well, then don't watch it, man. Nobody's forcing you to watch it. You know, like I listen to 3 hour podcasts sometimes, and then other times I don't. Like it's all your choice.
yeah, I
Uh,
know, but like I had the feeling I needed to watch some Dota videos because I don't watch replays. So like to get better,
Well,
I
I
think
mean that's
I'll
not a
take.
substitute. Watching your own replays is not a substitute.
I try to find substitutes for replays, man. But okay, yeah. Now I think I'll take longer breaks between my games, and then I'll watch a replay. I mean, probably after you play the game, but like with a little break in between, so you focus on the replay and not just go through it very fast.
Yeah, you don't want like the emotional attachment to it because a lot of times if you watch a replay, everybody will watch a replay and make excuses for stuff. If you're like if you lose a game, then immediately watch that replay afterwards. You're not going to see nearly as much as if you come into it with like an open mind.
Should you also watch one game's replays?
Dude, it's whatever. It's whatever, man. Like I can't tell you what's gonna work best for you. You got to figure it out. All I can say
True.
is that because I'm not you, frankly. But I will say this, and this is got to be the last thing because I have to do a couple
Okay,
things
okay.
um before I leave tomorrow. But just do a little bit of experimentation of like trying out different habits and different routines and figuring out a way to set yourself up for success. It sounds like right now you're kind of just stuck in this routine of just being like you finish whatever you're doing and the first thing that you do is you just open up Dota and you press play Dota. And that's just and then you do that over and over and over and then you go to sleep and you just do that the next day. And that's gotten you to a certain point, but it's not getting you to where you actually want to be. So now you need to adapt just like you would adapt in a game of Dota. You have to adapt what you're doing. So whether
Yes.
you have to write on a piece of paper every single day your schedule of the things that you want to do and then check them off because making a checklist helps you like validate yourself and helps you be accountable, then do that. If you have to start out every single day by doing like 10 minutes of meditation and then going for a run because that helps you perform better during the day, then do that. Just like
Yep.
try these things out and see how you feel. And if they help
Okay.
you over the course of like a week or 2 weeks, then try to
Yeah.
keep doing them. And like, like if let's say I was having like trouble with my diet or something like that,
Yes.
I would maybe like not eat meat for a week, see how I feel. And then if I feel worse, then maybe I'll start eating meat again. If I feel better, maybe I should not eat meat anymore. Like there's so many different things that each individual person is going to experience, and you have to just kind of like experiment and then try things out and then just go with what you ultimately feel is best for you.
So if I think quitting Dota is the best or playing one game maximum a day is the best to perform and learn more, that's what I should do, you say?
Yeah, man.
If I okay.
Like
Okay, yeah.
ultimately, we're not here on planet Earth to just like be miserable. There's no point in being here on planet Earth to be miserable. So do stuff that makes you happy, that makes you feel fulfilled, and that
Okay.
like betters your life. You know?
Yeah, I know. But I mean Dota is still like it's also a bit addictive the game, so
Yeah, it
I
is,
mean
but it's also your passion, like for sure. You wouldn't have gotten this far if you didn't enjoy the game.
but like I really enjoy party ranked with friends.
So
But
maybe just play party ranked for a month.
but the problem is all my friends live Dota kinda. Or like it were my brother's friends.
Oh
But
yeah.
like and then we met some other people, some Germans, and it was so fucking fun these times.
Yeah,
But
so I
not
mean, I don't know, maybe spend some time just like trying to find some people in party queue, play unranked, just like add random people. Like there's I don't know. There's so many solutions to the problems that you've presented so far. It's just a matter of just doing them.
yeah,
Just like
that's
me, it's
true.
like I don't feel nearly as good physically as I did when I was working out all the time. What's my solution? Go fucking work out. That's all I have to do and I'll feel better. So, with that being
Yeah, that's
said, that's probably what I'm going to go do right now.
true. Okay. Thanks for the session, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for listening and having good conversation with me. I really appreciate it. This is like ultimately what I know very well is this kind of stuff, because I think about it a lot. I've experienced a lot of this myself, so I hope that it's helpful to
That's
you.
true. And mostly, like, I got some 25, 20, 32 friends of solo of party friends, and they would mostly say just experience, like you'll see where you end. But I'm like, yo, I don't want to end somewhere crap. But I mean, it's just a matter of trying out, and I guess
Yeah, man, don't be afraid of the end result of your journey. Just kind of try to enjoy the journey that you're on. And
that's
like,
true.
you never know where it's going to end up. Nobody really does. So just like, just do your best. That's all you can really do at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but maybe I'll do another coach session later. I don't know about what. Maybe I'll feel like I need another one with some questions about Dota or something, or some schedule I thought that works perfect for me.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I'll
that's
hook you up
why I'm
then.
here. I'm happy to help in whatever way I can. You seem like a smart dude, so I'm sure that you'll be successful in one way or another, whatever you end up doing.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
All right, dude. Have a
No,
good rest of your day, or
yeah,
night, or whatever.
yeah.
And
Night probably.
good
Okay, yeah. You too.
good luck, and let me know how it goes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.